Lost and Found, a Brooklyn Girl's Journey to Faith. Sound of city streets, cars honking, kids playing, distant subway rumbling as Aaliyah looks back at her life on the very street she grew up on. They say Brooklyn makes you or breaks you. For Aaliyah Carter, it did both. Born and raised in the heart of East New York, Aaliyah's life was anything but easy. Her father left before she could even remember his face, and her mother, struggling to make ends meet, was rarely home. School was a battlefield, and the streets were full of lessons no classroom could teach. By 10, she learned how to take care of herself. By 16, she stopped believing in dreams. By 21, she felt completely lost. But this isn't just a story of struggle. It's a story of redemption, of how, even when you feel forgotten, faith can find you. Chapter 1. A Rough Start. Young Aaliyah, age 10, walks through the streets of Brooklyn, carrying a small plastic bag with food. She never had the childhood other kids had. No toys, no bedtime stories, no warm meals waiting for her. School was the only place she felt safe, but even there, life was tough. Kids whispered about her worn-out shoes, the same backpack she had carried for years. Teachers looked at her with pity, but pity didn't pay the bills. By middle school, Aaliyah was already helping her mother make ends meet. She learned how to stretch $1, how to stay invisible, how to keep moving forward, even when life felt like it was working against her. But deep inside, she still had dreams. Big dreams. She wanted to be a fashion designer, to create something beautiful out of nothing, just like she had to do with her life. But dreams felt like a luxury. Survival came first. Chapter 2. The Wrong Path. Teenage Aaliyah, now 17, stands on a Brooklyn street corner with a group of stylish but rough-looking teens. By high school, Aaliyah had stopped dreaming. She was tired of struggling, tired of being the girl with nothing. So when an opportunity came to make fast money, she took it. It wasn't anything illegal, but it wasn't something she was proud of. Working at a club, dressing up, playing the part, it made her feel powerful. For the first time, she had money to buy what she wanted, but the more she had, the emptier she felt. The loud music, the flashing lights, it all masked the loneliness inside her. She watched girls around her get lost in the life, stuck in toxic relationships, chasing validation from people who didn't care. She told herself she was different, until she wasn't. Until she looked in the mirror and didn't recognize herself anymore. Chapter 3. Rock Bottom. Then came the night that changed everything. She was promised a huge opportunity, one that could get her out of Brooklyn into something bigger, but something inside her told her to walk away. She ignored the feeling at first, but it didn't go away. Something whispered, "This isn't you." For the first time in years, she listened. That decision saved her life, but now she was back to nothing. No job, no money, nowhere to go. She sat on that subway bench, staring at the floor, feeling like a failure. And that's when she met Sister Naomi, an older black woman with kind eyes and a voice full of wisdom. "You look like you need a fresh start," she said. Aaliyah didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Fresh start? With what? Sister Naomi didn't judge. She simply invited her to a women's empowerment meeting at a small church. Aaliyah didn't believe in church, but she had nothing to lose. So she went. Chapter 4. A New Beginning. The church wasn't what she expected. There were no lectures, no judgment, just women sharing their stories. Women who had been broken but found healing. For the first time, Aaliyah spoke her truth about feeling lost, about wanting more, but not knowing how to get there. Instead of pity, she was met with support. With Sister Naomi's help, she started rebuilding. She took free business classes, joined a mentorship program, and found peace and faith, not just in God, but in herself. And slowly, she found herself again. She wasn't just surviving, she was growing. And then she did something she never thought she'd do. She went back to her first love, fashion. She started designing again, not for money, not for validation, for herself. And as she stitched each piece, it felt like she was stitching her life back together. Chapter 5. Finding Purpose. Years later, Aaliyah wasn't just surviving, she was thriving. She started a mentorship program for young girls, teaching them about self-worth, confidence, and faith. She launched her own fashion brand, built not on money, but on meaning. One day, she ran into an old friend from her past. "You changed," they said. Aaliyah smiled. "Yeah, and you can too." Aaliyah smiles brightly while walking confidently into a bright future.